vision going forward. But for now, I've got the Bears at 16. They're 500. I know they're not a great 500, but they've beaten some good teams, but they've lost to some not so good teams, and so they're still in the playoff hunt. They're my 16.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't get past that offense.
I get it, but that defense is phenomenal.
That's right. Number 15, they've slid a little bit. Arizona, still a good team. I mean, we're at this point where they're 6-4. They're above 500. Last week I had them in the 8th spot. They lose, and then I'm looking at my list. I go, I can't justify putting them really any higher.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray's awesome, but looking at record, that's a tough division. So yeah, I have the Cardinals at 15.
I also have the Cardinals at 15, Ian. Man, if you could take their offense and combine it with the Bears' defense, that'd be a pretty really good football team. Maybe the best team in the NFC.
Yes.
But they struggle defensively, and they're still, I think they're one of those teams that they're still young enough. They're learning how to win some big games, but not all the big games. And, until they can win all the big games or more of the big games, I don't know that we can put them any higher. But they're right on the verge of being a playoff team.
Number 14, a team that beat the head of the standings for me. I got the Miami Dolphins. They lose to Denver. Tough place to play, altitude. You've heard all those takes already,
Yeah.
but
Probably the coldest game they said Tua's ever played
in his life,
in his life.
I wouldn't doubt that.
He probably hasn't played many games in the north
No. So
in
they're
the snow.
yeah. I mean, it's Miami team. They're right there in the AFC East. They're not out of it, but it's a little bit of a setback against Denver. It is Tua time in Miami. Good roster, good coaches. Dolphins 14.
Okay, I have the Cleveland Browns at 14. I had dropped them last week, so they're climbing back up. And, they just run the ball so well. Getting Nick Chubb back is really going to help that team. They won a game against a scrappy Eagles team last Sunday and did it without Myles Garrett. It looks like they're going to be without Myles Garrett again this week. I think I read it's COVID related. So, when they get Myles Garrett back, Denzel Ward's out, so that could hurt them a little bit defensively going into this week's games with Ward and Garrett out. But if they get those two back and everybody else is healthy, they could be a tough out in the playoffs given the right matchup because they can run the football and play defense, and they can shorten a game and limit your possessions. So the Browns at 14.
Big time Browns guy over here.
I got my Browns hat on. It's my new Browns hat, not my old Browns hat.
There you go. I've had them a lot higher, and I moved them up this week. So we're at number 13.
Yep.
Let's face it, this is where Baltimore belongs. They're 6-4. We've been talking them up all year. Lose a game in New England. That's bad weather. You're 6-4. You're no longer in that elite class of the NFL in terms of wins and losses. Is there offensive talent? Of course. Do they run the ball well? Yes. Are there questions on defense now? Sure. They're looking up at the Browns and the Steelers in their own division. So I can't justify putting a team that's at 6-4 and third in their division any higher than 13. So I have Baltimore right there.
I have them slightly higher than you, but they are dropping fast. 13 for me, the Las Vegas Raiders. I had them at 13 last week. I left them at 13. Lost a tough game at home, a well-played game at home against arguably the best team in football, the most complete team in football. Maybe not the best record in football, but the most complete team in football in the Chiefs. I have the Raiders at 13. I think they're a really good football team. A lot better than I think a lot of people thought they would be this year. So I think John Gruden's done a heck of a job. Certainly has to be in the conversation for AFC Coach of the Year. So the Raiders at 13.
all your reasons, I have them at 12.
Okay.
Team no one's talking about. Their process,
Yep.
if you will, is quietly working. They were right there for beating the Chiefs twice in a season. I mean,
Yeah.
Raiders are real.
I mean,
They're
90
real.
seconds away from beating the Chiefs twice. I don't think
Yeah.
the Chiefs want to play them in the playoffs.
No, they do not. And being a Steeler fan, I don't want to play them either. That's a scary Raiders team. I have them up at number 12.
Yeah, the AFC is really good this year.
Right.
There's a lot of good teams in the
Who
AFC.
really thought that going in? I know people, got
Yeah.
the Chiefs and
Yeah,
the
I
Ravens
thought the NFC would be much better, but
deeper.
yeah,
They're not as deep as the AFC.
right, yeah. Number 12, I have the Dolphins for many of the reasons that you said earlier. I really like the Dolphins. It's a little concerning, but not really that concerning that they had to take Tua out of the game. You know, that's going to happen to a rookie quarterback, and thankfully for them, they do have a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's a very capable backup. They're good defensively, and their skill guys are starting to emerge. Devontae Parker is getting healthy, and he's a good receiver when healthy. You know, they got a lot of unknown guys that aren't household names, so that's a team that people want to watch going forward. They're a real threat to the Bills, I think, to win the East.
Right. Devontae Parker on my fantasy team.
Same.
I got great receivers on my fantasy team. But that's for another day. We're at number 11 already.
Yes.
I tried to justify putting them higher because I like their defense and I love their running game, the Cleveland Browns.
I like it.
But just looking at teams ahead of them, I go, can Baker beat those teams? I don't know. We'll have to see. But Cleveland is right up there, and talking about Coach of the Year, I heard this yesterday.
Yeah.
What about Kevin Stefanski?
Yeah, absolutely.
You talk about the Browns when they suck, but you don't talk about them when they're good. It's kind of a double standard there. The national media, if you will. So Cleveland at 11.
Okay, I like it. As a Browns fan, I like it. I like it a lot. At 11, I have the Ravens. They're hanging on just because they were ranked higher, but they're my biggest dropper this week. They got to find who they are on offense. They got to get healthy because I'm not sure they've beaten a really good team yet this year, although they may have beaten Cleveland earlier in the year.
Week 1.
Yeah, so that's week 1. That's a long time ago. You know, week 1, we got to remember the Jaguars beat the Colts in week 1. So that's their only win of the year.
Yeah.
They could go 1-15, win game 1, and lose the next 15.
And beat a playoff team.
And
Week
beat
1.
a really good playoff team
That's
too.
right.
So I have the Ravens at 11. They got another tough one this week, we think. Thursday
it's
night
played,
against the Steelers, and they could fall all the way down, possibly out of the top 16. This is a team I had number 1 preseason. They were my number 1 team preseason, the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, they were my second.
Yeah, we both had them
Yeah.
in the top 3, I know.
I mean, even up till, last week I dropped them to 7
Yeah,
after the loss, but prior to that I had them up there at 3 or 4
yeah.
in the top 16. They're hanging on by a claw.
Yeah, and that was that was a good quality loss on Sunday because Tennessee's a good team and it was overtime and it can
Sure,
go
yeah.
once you get to overtime it can go either way, but they've been close, but they haven't put those games away like they did last year.
No. We're at number 10, and then what do we make of Tampa Bay? I've had them as high as 4, I think,
Yeah.
or 3.
They got some flaws,
Yikes. And it's on the offensive side of the ball.
surprisingly enough. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
A lot of questions in Tampa. No question the talent, both sides of the ball. Bruce Arians' offense, we've seen it with Jameis Winston. We've seen it with other guys. You got to go deep. You got to be able to throw the deep ball, and you're going to get turnovers. It's just the way the offense is aggressive. It's not clicking yet for Tampa, but the panic meter is probably still at a 4. I mean, the Rams, they're coming up later in our top 16. You might have them up in the top 5. I think you're a little bit more up on the Rams than me at this point, but
I
Tampa's
am.
good. Don't panic. They're still 7-4. I think they're on track for a playoff berth.
That was your number 10?
Yes.
Okay. I have them a little higher than you. At 10, I have the Colts. That was a really good win over the Packers. They might be. This is tough to say. They might be the best defense in football.
I think statistically they are.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really good. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
they shut Green Bay out except for a field goal in the second half. And Green Bay's good offensively. I mean, they shut them out and forced them to kick a field goal because it was 28-14
In panic
at half.
mode field goal.
Yeah, it was 28-14 at half.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Packers went Lions, had them up by 14 at half, just where they wanted. Colts were like, we got them right where we want them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's how teams feel when they play the Lions and
Oh.
they have a lead. But the Colts are 10. Rivers, he doesn't blow up the stat sheet. I mean, he doesn't look like he should beat you, but he does. And Jonathan Taylor has been a good running from Wisconsin, does a nice job. So
On my fantasy team too.
man, you drafted well. Yeah, so the Colts at number 10.
Yeah, I got Indy coming up later. I think that win against Green Bay is huge. We're going to take a break. We'll be back continuing our top 16 in a little bit. I think I'm going to jump into Michigan on the other side of this break. So we'll take some commercial messages. We'll get our weekday updates from the University of Michigan State, MSU. I know I said that weird. It's fine. We're going to go to break.
The University of Ohio State. Who was that? Was that Terrell Pryor that called it I'm going to the University of Ohio State?
Yeah, something like that. It's early. It's a Wednesday morning. We'll be back with more Inside the Cave.
You need new wheels, but don't want to have to pay for a brand new ride. If you want something that is
fair weather fans. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Whoa! Gross!
Hey, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. 96.5, The Cave.
Welcome back inside the cave, 7:29 on a Wednesday morning. Ian Wendt, John Roberts with you till 9 o'clock today. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media. If you follow us on Facebook and Twitter, you can find the link to the live feed on our YouTube channel over on Lenawee Broadcasting Company. We're halfway through the top 16 NFL teams. We'll get to the top 9, right? We're at 9.
Yes.
Weird
Yeah,
place
did
to
lose
stop,
to
but
10. Yeah.
we'll keep going here in a little bit. Hope to get the Adrian College hockey coaches on the phone with us in the 8 o'clock hour. A historic moment at the Arrington Ice Arena on Saturday as the men's team hosted a Division I opponent for the first time in Bulldog hockey history for the men. So we'll talk to Coach Krug about that. And we're looking forward to really next semester because I think they're done for this calendar year.
I believe so. I happened to run into Coach Rainey last night, and he said that athletics, maybe basketball, has a couple games left in December, but everybody's gone home, I think, other than the few remaining athletes that. I think they have basketball maybe this weekend or sometime next week.
Yeah, I think they have a game against
Defiance, maybe, I
I
thought.
think Eastern too. I think they announced
Yes.
that.
Yes, Adrian College is going to play at Eastern.
That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, it
I'll
will.
try to get Coach Lindsay on the show to maybe
Yeah,
talk
there we
about
go.
that beforehand.
There we go.
Good stuff. But let's go to this. I have thoughts. I'd like to get John's reaction. And if you have reaction to, call us 517-265-4000. So, Michigan wins in triple overtime
Mm-hmm.
against Rutgers. I watched like the second half-ish, fourth quarter,
Mm-hmm.
in overtime. I watched Michigan miss a kick. Okay, then I go, all right, Rutgers has a chance here. They miss a kick. I fall asleep. I figure Michigan's got it. You know, that was Rutgers' chance. Michigan like, all right, we dodged a bullet. Let's go win this game. Eventually they did in triple overtime. Looking back, the highlights replay, watching that celebration looked like how they used to celebrate wins against Ohio State. And I think that tells you the state of the program. It was Rutgers. I've heard a lot of people say that. It's Rutgers. I get it, you won. But really? Really, that's where you're at? Sixth-year head coach, and you're beating Rutgers in triple overtime. If there are fans filling that stadium, Michigan loses that game. I don't think there's a way they win it. They used to win, they used to celebrate like that, wins against Ohio State, or against Nebraska back in the day, or against Michigan State, that's justified. But that was against Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
It was against Rutgers.
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah.
I understand they beat Michigan State. I'm not talking about Michigan State. They don't really deserve a lot of our airtime, Michigan State. But didn't it feel kind of that way, John? It felt like your skin crawled a little bit. You're like, why do I feel this way? Should I feel the way the team looks and is celebrating this thing?
Well,
Like I watched Harbaugh when they missed that kick, jump up and down like a kid. Really? Really?
well, number one, I went to bed for the overtime. I didn't see the overtime. I watched the highlights the next day. So, I was really, I went in two different directions when I saw what you're talking about. I went in the direction that you went, but then I also went, having been a coach on some teams that have struggled, And I remember winning a game after maybe losing 2 or 3 in a row. And it does help you forget those last few games. So in the moment, you're excited, you're happy. Because, as Herm Edwards once said, you play to win the game. And when you win, you should celebrate that.
Sure.
Because you've accomplished a goal. That's what you worked for in practice that week, was to win the game. And there's a saying in sports: it's better to win ugly than lose pretty. And they won ugly, very ugly, against a team that's not very good, but also against a team that's better than it was last year. I know I was on the field for the Michigan-Rutgers game last year in Ann Arbor. Rutgers last year looked like a glorified high school team. I mean, physically and how they performed. This year, with Greg Schiano, they're a better team. They brought in some transfers, some from Ohio State. I mean, these are 5-star guys that transferred to Rutgers. So they're better. Are they a lot better? No, they're probably going to finish last or next to last in the Big Ten East. East. So, yes, it's disappointing that this is where we're at in 2020, year 6. No question about it. This is a game that everybody would thought in year 6 this isn't a ball game. It's more like in year 5 when we beat them 50-something to nothing.
Right, 52-0.
52-0.
Before that,
Right.
42-7, 35-14, 78-0.
Right.
In 2016.
Right.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to talk Rutgers here for a second. The challenge for them, and this is going to be the challenge for Indiana as well. Indiana has been building for this season. Can Indiana sustain what they did this season? That's the key. And that's what great programs, or at least very good programs, do. They sustain winning. They don't win 10 games and then drop back to 6 the next year, and then 3 years later win 10 games and drop back to, So, yeah, it's disappointing. I agree with you. But I also understand, having been on a sideline, hey, winning's winning, and it doesn't matter. We won, and so let's be happy about that. To me, I was kind of glad to see the emotion, because I think that's part of what's been missing in Michigan. There hasn't been that emotional outburst from Harbaugh, the players, the coaches. Maybe that's a sign of good things to come if we want to look at it optimistically. Be more like that, and good things will follow.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll
Next
see this
week.
in
Right?
a couple
Next
days.
Wednesday we come back and we're like,
Yeah.
okay, they lost to Penn State, or
Yeah.
hey, they really carried that over,
Well,
and they beat another bad football team.
and
That's
Jeff,
the thing.
Yeah, Jeff.
Rutgers is a bad football
They are.
team.
They are. And Jeff and I talked about it on Monday. Michigan beats Penn State. Now they're 3-3, with a winnable game against Maryland coming up the week after that. They could be 4-3. I don't think they're beating Ohio State. It would be one of the bigger upsets in this series history if they beat Ohio State this year.
Yeah.
So now they're 4-4.
Gosh,
They're a bowl team at 4-4.
I sound like a genius if they're 4-4.
Because that's
Because
what
I
you
need
said.
to go back. That's what
Yeah.
I said preseason. I didn't predict they lose to Michigan State.
Right.
But-
Not many people did.
No, yeah.
Not many people did.
No.
That they're going to kick themselves about that game, because that could keep them from being, if they win out up to Ohio State. I mean, it'd be 5-3.
Then you're playing like an Iowa team.
Yeah, you're
For
playing
the
a little better
Big
team
Ten
in the
conference
crossover
thing,
game, and if you win that one, now everybody feels pretty good about the season. Yeah, you lost to Ohio State, and that's a problem. But you beat rivals, you beat some good teams.
So I got a couple more things.
Yeah,
about
go ahead.
Michigan.
Sorry.
The celebration was the top thing. I'm going, wait, is there a different shade of red on the field? Oh, that's the Rutgers red, not the Ohio State red. Is it in high definition kind of thing? Okay.
Is my TV broken?
Right. And are they showing highlights or from back in the day? Just be cautious about Cade McNamara, please. Don't freak out. Don't run to buy his jersey and say he's the next fill in the blank. Chill out. I have an example. You don't have to go back that far. Joe Milton,
Yeah.
week 1. He looks like a Heisman candidate after beating a team that people thought was good in Minnesota. Calm down, okay? Now, teams, mainly, Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State, they have film on him. And, he was good against Rutgers. I'll give him that. He was really good. He came in and put the team on his back and got the win, and that's what you have to do when your coach calls upon you. That's nice to see. Don't fall for him yet.
Not yet.
Right. Put something together. Okay, you beat Rutgers. All right. Okay, go and beat Maryland. Go just take care of them. Or Penn State. Sorry, I'm looking ahead. Beat Penn State. A lot of people are looking ahead of Penn State. Beat the Nittany Lions and look good doing it. And then do your thing against Maryland and compete against Ohio State. Don't fall for Cade yet. Don't. Just because he's different and doing different things and played better than Joe Milton. Milton beat him out in practice, right? Because there was an open competition.
Yeah.
Joe got the start. Paul, just chill. Just wait. Again, it's Rutgers. Wait. You can feel good about it, but mixed emotions after the game. Just chill out on Cade McNamara right now. The defense, I know there's injury. And I talked to John Borton from the Wolverine magazine on Thursdays with Pat. I know. Behind the starters are not scrubs at Michigan. They're not. They're 3-4-star guys. They still stink. You gave up all those points to fill in the blank. One of the worst defenses in the Big Ten, points-wise, at Michigan. That's a problem. You can fix your quarterback position, but he had to put on his Jesus sandals to go out and beat Rutgers.
Yeah.
Because the defense is Swiss cheese. Come on. Either coach to what you have, or the kids just got to play better. I don't know what it is. This defense is just falling apart.
Yeah, they've struggled. I don't know if it's year 6 and people have Don Brown really figured out. Obviously, I'm sure they put some new things in this offseason. You don't just come back with the same old stuff from year to year. Even high school teams add some plays or some blitzes or, coverages or whatever, it's almost like that, okay, we've anticipated what he's going to add this year based on what he's done in the past.
Yeah.
And I think they definitely, I think their secondary hurts them because I think there's some coaching issues back there. The one coach is not coaching right now, so that puts some extra work on the other guys coaching the secondary. They lost Ambry Thomas, who I think would help them. He's going to be a draft pick. Probably won't say he's a first-round draft pick, but he's going to get drafted in the NFL next year. So that would have helped them this year, having a returning guy at quarterback. I'm a little disappointed in Gray because he played a lot last year. A lot at corner, and you would have thought he would have made the jump. I'm a little bit disappointed in Hill, although he played better down the stretch Saturday night. Early on in the game, I think I texted you guys. I thought he is hugely disappointing in this game so far. And this is a guy that was a 5-star that decommitted from Alabama to come to Michigan. So he's got to be the leader in that secondary. And then losing Pay and Hutchinson, I think they'll have Pay back this week. That'll help.
A pass rush helps your secondary.
Absolutely, because now the
together.
quarterback's got to get rid of it quicker or under pressure, no question. So if they can get him back, but they got to get some push from their D tackles too, and they're not getting that.
Yeah, and again, it's not like they're putting scrubs in there behind the starters.
Yeah, there's problems at every level of that defense, which is kind of surprising because that's been really what they could hang their hat on, if nothing else, the last few years.
Yeah, I'm going to continue Michigan talk. We went over. We're going to go to break. I have one more final thought on your football coach, Jim Harbaugh, following their win over Rutgers. We'll be back. You're Inside the Cave with Ian Wentz and John Roberts. And just like that, you're back inside the cave. Ian Wentz, John Roberts with you today. So glad to have you along with us for the ride. We're here till 9 o'clock talking sports here. Continued Michigan talk. I have one more thing to talk about with the football coach over there at the University of Michigan. We'll switch the music. There we go. Jim Harbaugh. I kind of alluded to this earlier, but I want to dive a little deeper into it. Him celebrating that first overtime missed kick against Rutgers, he did it like it saved his job. I know he won't be fired, but that's what it looked like. Like, that's another thing to add to the, if they mutually agree to leave, part ways, that game would be another one. It's like, okay, you got blown out by Ohio State almost every year. You're 500 against MSU. We look bad this year. Oh, yeah. And you lost to Rutgers. Like, that poor kid for Rutgers missing that kick. And I know Michigan missed one earlier. It looked like Harbaugh was going, yes, I'm safe. Like, whew, we're out of this one. Let's go to the next one. I'm sure you don't feel that exact same way, but that kind of gave off that vibe to me.
Yeah, I think if they would have lost to Rutgers, that could have spiraled. For the rest of the season. If I guess a game against Rutgers ever was must win, that one was must win. So yeah, I could see had they lost that game, it could have been, yeah, there's no way I can come back next year. And if you're Michigan, you might say, yeah, there's no way we can bring you back. Not that they've never lost to Rutgers, but
right.
That would have been
that on top of everything else this year.
Yeah. I mean, just because now I'm not sure you beat Penn State or Maryland, and you're now all of a sudden you're 1-7.
And you're hoping Ohio State has to reschedule or cancel the game
has
against
COVID
you.
issues.
Yeah.
And you're going to play a real crummy team in the crossover game, and it's just not going to end well. But yeah, that I don't know that it's a job saver, but certainly helped winning. It tamped down some of the critics a little bit, I guess. A little bit, not much,
Yeah.
but a little bit.
You didn't shut anyone up.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
you go out and
a
beat
lot
them
of
by
people were like,
30.
"Yeah, you won, but it feels like a loss because
Right.
we didn't." Yeah,
And,
I get that.
yeah, and those are tough takes. Those are hard to swallow for Michigan fans. But look, you did win. We're not talking about state, okay? So I know what you're thinking. Yeah, well, Ian,
Yeah,
Michigan State lost to Rutgers. Bad football team. MSU, bad football team.
yeah.
But bad football team did beat Michigan. Also bad football team who had to kick field goal late to beat other bad football team. So we're talking about the crap of the Big Ten
Yeah,
right now.
And I'm not sure, there's always ifs, if Michigan State turns the ball over half what they did against Rutgers, maybe they beat them.
Right.
Now we're talking about 2 and whatever MSU, 2
Yeah.
and 3, I guess they would
Mhm.
be. If they win those first 2 games, it's a different attitude in East Lansing too. Oh hey, we got something here. We're 2-0.
Yeah.
Feeling
so
pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, so MSU turns it over about 15 times against Rutgers and loses. And Michigan has to bring in their backup quarterback to outplay the guy who outplayed him in practice to come back and beat Rutgers in overtime. And watching that missed kick
Yeah.
and Harbaugh's celebration
Yeah.
kind of put those thoughts in my mind as like, maybe they were going to talk about that game when they're at the end of the season and all the administration and whoever's
Sure.
talking to them and they're like, do we extend you for another couple of years?
Yeah, that would have been a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
I
Explain
mean,
this, Jim.
yeah. It's one thing
well-
if you're, I get what would they have been, 3-1 going into that game, and you get beat. Now you got upset, and it's a different kind of anger. But at least now, okay, we're 3-2. We win this next 2. We gotta, we're gonna be 5-2 going into Ohio State. We finish maybe 5-3. We pull off the upset. We're 6-2. Everybody's ecstatic with 6-2 at that point. 'Cause
Oh,
you
yeah.
beat Ohio State and you're 6-2.
Yeah, they extend his contract forever.
He's a
Go beat Ohio
lifetime
State,
rollover contract.
So we have a sports update coming up at the top of the hour. John will be in with our sports headlines, essentially. And then our top 9 teams. We do a top 16 every week. We'll get to those. And I have some takes on the Lions. Ugh, come on.
Yeah.
So if we want to go through these really quick, John, our 16 through 10, I have Denver, Arizona, Miami, Baltimore. They've dropped. The Raiders, the Browns, and Tampa Bay at number 10.
All right. I have the Bears, the Cardinals, the Browns, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Ravens, who also have dropped a lot for me, and the Colts at 10. And I might be undervaluing the Colts.
I mean, if you want to send us messages or tweet out your top 16, welcome to do that. Find us on social media, 965 The Cave. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with hour number 2 inside the cave, talking football, and then we'll talk some Bulldog hockey coming up around 8:30. So be sure to tune in for that. Head coach Sean Skelly of the women's team and head coach Adam Krug for the men's team. So stay tuned. You're listening to Inside the Cave with yours truly, Ian Wentz and John Roberts. All right, let's get into it. Hour number 2 inside the cave. Ian Went, John Roberts with you till 9 o'clock today. Glad to have you following along on the air, 965 FM, online, 965thecave.com, and on our YouTube stream over on Lenawee Broadcasting Company. Find that link on our social media, Facebook and Twitter. So go over and check that out. It's a nice little look inside the cave. Sort of a fun setup we have here. Sports update, top 16. I have thoughts on the Lions. We have a trivia question to get to, all in about 25 minutes. Let's see if we can do it. Let's start with a sports update.
Now for an Inside the Cave sports update.
All right, Ian, it's a good thing the Detroit Pistons have names on the back of their jerseys. Otherwise, it might be hard for fans to figure out who's who when the team takes the floor on opening night this season. New general manager Troy Weaver made a number of transactions that left the team looking very different than it did when the Pistons began the 2019-20 campaign. As of now, just 4 players remain from that squad: Blake Griffin, Derrick Rose, Sekou Doumbouya, and Svi Michalek. The others are scattered across the NBA or still looking for a team. It's unclear if the Pistons are finished making deals, but for now, these are the players who could be with the team when training camp begins on December 1st. Michigan State headed into last week with uncertainty at quarterback. The Spartans are now coming off an unexpected bye because Maryland canceled last week's game due to a COVID-19 outbreak, and there still isn't an answer about who will start, at least not publicly. Seems to be a thing with Michigan college teams. So it will be either redshirt junior Rocky Lombardi or redshirt freshman Peyton Thorne for the Spartans, who are 1-3 when they host number 11 and undefeated Northwestern on Saturday, 3:30 p.m. on ESPN2, and you can listen to that game also right here on The Cave. The Big Ten adopted a new Champions Week format this season. It didn't include any semifinal matchups, at least not officially. We may, however, have witnessed just that on Saturday. The 2 undefeated teams in the East Division faced off, as did the lone unbeatens in the West. Ohio State held on for a 42-35 victory over Indiana in a matchup of top 10 teams. Northwestern forced 5 turnovers to take down Wisconsin 17-7. The Buckeyes and Wildcats are on track to meet in Indianapolis for the Big Ten Championship, just as they did in 2018. Ohio State closes with trips to Illinois and Michigan State and a home game against Michigan. Each of those opponents is currently under 500. The same goes for Northwestern's remaining opponents, Michigan State, Minnesota, both on the road, and Illinois at home. Penn State's 2020 season has hit historic lows. Despite beginning the season in the top 10 of the Associated Press poll, the Nittany Lions remain the only winless Big Ten team in 2020. Let's hope it stays that way after this Saturday. They are 0-5 for the first time in program history after a 41-21 thrashing against Iowa on Saturday. Winning or losing 10 straight games to open the season is relatively rare occurrence. A season in which teams have done both has happened only a handful of times before the Pittsburgh Steelers won their first 10 games and the New York Jets lost their first 10 this season. This is just the 6th season in the Super Bowl era to feature both a 10-0 team and an 0-10 team. The first time it has happened since 2011. Who was that 0-16 team in 2011, Ian?
The 0-10 team?
Or
You mean-
0-10?
Well, I read it the first hour.
No.
It was the Colts,
Okay. There
right?
you
Was
go.
that prior to drafting? Oh, my mic was off. It was the Colts.
The
Sorry.
Colts.
Yeah, prior to drafting Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I believe so. I believe you are correct. And in the first college football playoff rankings, Alabama is number 1, followed by Notre Dame, Clemson, and Ohio State. Texas A&M was 5th, Florida 6th, followed by unbeaten Cincinnati at 7th, the best ranking for a non-Power 5 team in the 7-year history of the selection committee's rankings. And that's the update, Ian.
All right, good stuff. We do sports updates at 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning weekdays. Was that the John Kane?
It was. It's my
paper.
tribute to John Kane.
Paper on the desk. All right, a lot of stuff to get to. I have quick thoughts on the Lions. That coming up a little bit later in the show. We have trivia coming up in 10 minutes. Your chance to win a car wash and get registered for a
3 years worth of car washes.
that's right, Maple City Auto Wash doing that for the trivia.
And it's Michigan football related.
Yeah, most of our listeners will probably know this one, so they'll have to hurry up and call in when we tell them to. But let's get to our top 9. We oddly did 6 before. That's a mistake on my part. We should have made it through 9. But here we go. We'll start with number 9. Lost to a team that's inside my top 8. What's going on? Green Bay. I get it. They played a really good Colts team. They're atop of the NFC North. They play the Bears up next. If the Bears can find a way, I mean, they're holding on to the division. That's kind of weird to say. Bears 5-5, Packers with 7 wins. And they basically got shut out in the second half. 3 points against the Colts. Indy made adjustments. Green Bay apparently did not. Packers at 9.
Okay, I have Tampa Bay at 9. Right in the middle of the top 16, basically. Not sure who they are still, especially on offense right now. They struggle against good teams. They beat the bad teams. How good is this team? I don't know. They don't seem to beat really good teams. They've lost twice to the Saints. They lost to the Rams and the Bears.
Yep.
Yeah, so that doesn't bode well if you get in the playoffs because you're going to have to beat some good teams in the playoffs.
That's right, especially probably playing in the wild card.
Yeah,
They're hoping they probably get the NFC East champ.
and right now that's who they would play is the
Yeah.
winner of the NFC East.
I'm going to do a couple here in a row. I'll do Indianapolis at 8, Tennessee at 7, Los Angeles Rams at 6. I've been right. This might be the highest I've put Indy. They've been between 8 and I think 14 for me. It's a good football team. Rivers he's good Phillip right now. He's not bad Rivers. He's flowing downstream. I mean, things are just rolling for him. He's not swimming upstream. Good for him. Tennessee, big win in overtime. I said I'd move them up if they did, and the Ravens down if they lost. You know, 2 teams that needed a bounce back. Tennessee did. Rams are for real. Look out. Good win over Tampa Bay. And, yeah, I have them at 6.
Okay, I have the Rams at 8, the Titans at 7, and the Packers at 6. The Rams, they're sneaky good. I just think in the end, they could be in the NFC Championship game. They're good on defense, and when they protect Jared Goff and he's confident, he's pretty good. I mean, and they got weapons. And so keep an eye on the Rams. Tennessee at 7 for a lot of the same reasons. They went into Baltimore, won a game that they had to win. When they play within who they are, they're tough to beat, and they're going to be one of those teams that, as we saw 2 years ago, knocked off Kansas City, in the playoffs. And you got to keep your eye on Tennessee because they're a really good football team. And Green Bay, yeah, they had the meltdown at Indianapolis. I still think when they're on, when everything's clicking, they're one of the best teams in the NFC. And you just can't discount what Aaron Rodgers brings to the table.
Yeah, they do have a tiebreaker over the Saints if they need it.
Yep.
I'll go 5 through 1. You got to get moving here. Buffalo 5, Seattle 4, New Orleans 3. That defense is really showing up. Kansas City at 2. You almost lost twice to the Raiders. And Pittsburgh took care of business. I know their schedule's not great, but you're undefeated, right? I mean, there's pressure there. They're handling it well. A huge Thanksgiving game coming up against a divisional rival in Baltimore. But there we go. That's my 5 through 1.
We're the same 3 through 5, and I'm still Kansas City on top because you're the champs until you're not the champs. And they're playing well enough, I think, to be in that conversation for number 1. They've had 2 close games, lost one, won one with the Raiders.
Well, they had a close one with Carolina
Yeah,
at home,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, it's not like the Steelers haven't had any close games.
No,
I mean,
they have not.
okay, they've blown
we could-
everybody out.
Yeah. No, they've had close ones. We could argue that till the
Yeah,
cows come
they're
home,
both really, really good football teams. If
Yeah.
everything goes as it should, they should be in the AFC Championship game.
That's a throwback.
Yeah,
And watching Chiefs Raiders
yeah, that was kind of cool.
felt like
when
a
they're both
throwback
good.
type game.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
that,
this
that
is-
was fun watch.
This is
Monday
what
night.
old football
or
fans,
Sunday night. Yeah,
remember.
Yeah,
So there you go, our top
Okay.
16 NFL teams. That's according to John Roberts and yours truly, Ian Wendt. Got a few minutes to talk about the Lions.
if we must.
Look, I almost called into the show and took up some of your airtime.
Monday?
Yeah,
You
but
should've.
I didn't. I wanted to give you guys a chance to vent and sort of get all your Lions takes out of the way. And I didn't want to wake up that early. Let's be honest. Watching the Sunday night game was not quite
So
a
there,
person.
the truth
by then.
comes out.
It's part
now.
of it. Part
Yeah.
of it. I didn't care enough about the Lions to wake up early to call the show.
You didn't want to be half asleep, Ian, calling into the show.
Yeah, no. They're like, who's calling? We don't have a guest. Oh, it's
It's
you.
Ian.
All right. Here's what it boils down to for me. Stafford. You know, the quarterback. You've probably heard of him before.
More so than the coach and GM.
Right, yeah. Look, if he was hurt, talking about his thumb the whole broadcast, why was he playing?
Yeah.
If he's hurt, don't play. Carolina is bad. Don't play. Chase Daniel probably could have beat that team. If he was not hurt, Matthew Stafford stunk. He
Yes.
was awful.
Yes.
If he was hurt, shouldn't have played. If he wasn't hurt, he stunk. He had like 54 yards in the first half. If your defense is that bad, play better so they don't have to be on the field the whole time. I just couldn't believe what I was watching. And I tried to verbalize this the best way I can. Here's the Stafford apologies. Here's the Stafford excuse. If the defense stinks, he's not expected to win a shootout. Well, what do you expect? You want Matthew to throw for 300 yards and 40 points? Sure.
Yes.
And if the offense stinks, it's because he's hurt, or he doesn't have weapons, or no running game, or the coaches are bad. I'm tired of these excuses. Matthew Stafford stunk. You gave up 20 points to an NFL team. That's not bad.
That's a
The
winnable
defense
game.
made plays
Yeah.
to win. They picked him off in the end zone twice. You were worse. You lost to a bad football team. This was worse than the Bears loss. This was absolute crap. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I wanted Carolina to punt back to the Lions at the end of the game so I could watch them fumble all over themselves one more time.
You're glutton for punishment.
Yeah, but instead the special teams unit jumps offside twice, or the
That was
punt block, and then the
amazing.
defense does it. I'm going, this is the most Lions game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Sick of it. If Stafford's hurt, don't play him. Say his thumb is dinged up. He can miss this game.
Yeah.
A competent quarterback could beat that Carolina team. I know Kenny Galladay's hurt. I know Danny Amendola.
DeAndre
Throw,
Swift.
yeah, no DeAndre Swift. Throw it near the guys. They're still professional athletes. They will catch the football.
Mhm.
Throw it where they can catch it. Case in point, Aaron Rodgers. Everyone says, who's he throwing to? Deck chairs. No one. This guy's a third rounder. Why can't we hold our quarterback to that standard? Watching Stafford, it was pathetic on Sunday. That's it for me. It was just bad. He's bad this year. We can admit it. All right? Team last year, they competed without him. They didn't win a lot, but they competed. They looked the same. They looked the same. My gosh.
Yeah. He actually last year before he got hurt was the best player on the team.
Yes.
He was the best player on the team.
For sure.
It might have been one of the better
MVP
quarterbacks in the NFL
considerations.
last year.
No doubt.
And when he got hurt. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's just. If I were him, I'm thinking, here we go. Another coaching change, another system, another, I'm 12
Because they
years in.
won't move away from him.
I know. Well, I don't think they can now. Not now. I mean,
I know the money doesn't make sense.
it doesn't. And that's going to keep a conservative organization like the Lions from making that move. I think, we've talked about it. I think unless they can find some way to swallow up some of the cap hit, I don't think they move on from it. Now, that doesn't mean you don't draft his replacement. I think, but I don't know that you do it with a first round pick. They got a lot of other needs than. I just still think they're not great up front on defense. They got a chance to be pretty good up front on offense. They still need maybe a guy or two there. I think they've got weapons that can be competitive and win in the NFL.
I'm not doubting his toughness.
Right.
I'm not doubting that he's not a franchise quarterback. I'm not saying he's a bad football player or that he's not the best the Lions have ever had.
Right.
He is.
Statistically,
He
there's no
stunk
question.
on Sunday. He stunk on ice.
Yeah.
He was bad. Admit it.
Yeah.
He stunk.
Yeah.
Can you blame Patricia and the defense for giving up 20 points?
No.
What, do you want the defense to score points?
Well, that'd be
I am
nice, but
I'm sick of watching it.
yeah,
I'm sick of it.
Well, you gotta
I'm fired up. I
You
went
gotta take the
overtime.
route I've taken, Ian. It's the Lions. You gotta be emotionally
Well, we have to care
detached.
because our listeners care.
I know.
Right?
I care. I want them to win.
I live here. I don't
I
want
get
it to just be a stain on this state.
I get it. Well, they have been for 50-some years, most of my life.
Man.
Actually, all my life, really.
Yeah.
I was born the year the Fords took ownership of the team.
When was the last playoff win?
91?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I've not been on this planet. I've been on this.
I watched it.
Yeah,
I
I
saw it.
wasn't around.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a concept as a person the last time the Lions won a playoff game. So that's my bid on Stafford for this week. You cannot blame Patricia for that loss in particular. You give up 20 points.
Well, you can't blame the defensive coordinator. You can blame Patricia. He's the
What,
head
for
coach.
playing Stafford?
Well, maybe.
If that was his call, then
Maybe.
sure.
But
He
he's
should've realized
the head
he
coach,
stinks
so he's going to
today.
take the blame. He's going to get the blame. But no, I'm not disagreeing with you that
Right.
Stafford is also to blame with the way he's played.
You should score 20 points in an NFL game
I would think
in today's NFL.
yes. I mean, they've still got some good players on offense. I mean, Marvin Jones is a good player. Hawkinson, I know he dropped the one pass. He's having a decent year this year.
You had Carry-On, you had AP.
Yeah.
Your offensive line was there. Decker just let a couple guys
Yeah.
go by. I yelled at my TV. I don't think I've yelled at an offensive lineman like that in years. I'm like, Decker, what are you doing? Just letting guys go by. It
Yeah.
was just gross.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
That was gross.
Tough.
I had to get that off my chest. I'm now fired up. Poor Coach Skelly. I'm just, ugh.
Well, thankfully we have
We're
the
gonna-
break.
I know. We're going to talk to hockey coaches later, talk about some really good teams and good programs. We have to get to our Maple City Auto Wash trivia question for today. It's, of course, being brought to you by Maple City Auto Wash on Main Street. That's next to Speedway gas station. The first correct answer will be running every other week. Wait a minute.
No.
First correct answer will receive a free car wash. The contest will be running every other week on WLEN and every week here on The Cave until November 2021. All winners from both stations will be entered for a chance to win a free 1-year membership for unlimited car washes. 1 winner per station per year, please. So basically, answer question right, get 1 free car wash, get entered to win a lot of car washes.
Yes.
There you go.
As many as you want.
That's the basics of it. Now you have to call us at 517-265-4000. John, do you want to lay down the question for him?
I do. Cade McNamara in last Saturday's game was responsible rushing and passing for 5 Michigan touchdowns. Okay? Who was the last Michigan quarterback to be responsible for 5 touchdowns in a game, rushing and passing? This guy, I'll give you a little hint, was a little better runner than he was a passer, so maybe that helps.
And he played within the last
10 years.
years.
Yes, you don't have to go that far back. And it was
Really never
against
really
Ohio
done.
State. if
Oh, I was gonna let that hang out there.
Yeah, so you've got some clues. Call us, 517-265-4000 for a chance to win the Maple City Auto Wash Trivia Contest.
Yeah, against the Buckeyes, they won that game 40-34. Check this out. Michigan was 10-2,
Yes.
6-2 in the Big Ten. Ohio State that year, 6-6, 3-5 in the Big Ten. Wow.
Not
That's
that
going in
long
the way
ago,
back
people,
time
the
machine.
roles were reversed.
Yeah.
We can get back to those days. You've got to believe. Call us. Win a car wash.
Last quarterback to account for 5 touchdowns in a game
For the Michigan
for
Wolverines.
Michigan. Cade McNamara did it against Rutgers in not even a full game.
Yeah.
So,
He's
yeah.
the answer, Ian. He's the answer.
Slow down. Chill. We'll talk after Penn State. But if we get a call during the break, we'll take it off the air. 517-265-4000 to win that car wash and a chance to win unlimited car washes. So call us. 517-265-4000. Last Michigan quarterback to account for 5 touchdowns in a game. We'll take a break and we'll talk some Bulldog hockey. Adrian College women's coach Sean Skelly on the way after these commercial break, and we will hear from Michigan State University, their update for this hour. You're listening to Inside the Cave on 965 The Cave and 965thecave.com.
You need new wheels, but don't want to have to pay for a brand new ride. If you want something that is both nice and dependable, head on over to Long Motor Sales in Tecumseh.
Sports. 96.5 The Cave.
All right, welcome back inside the cave. 8:31 on a Wednesday morning, November 25th of 2020. Thanks for being with us. Ian Wentz, John Roberts, we're inside the cave with you today, hanging out till 9 o'clock. We're switching gears. We've been talking football all morning. Let's get to the ice. We have Adrian College women's hockey coach Sean Skelly for the NCAA program on the phone line. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, guys.
So,
Happy day before Thanksgiving.
that's right, fasting day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
got to make some room for tomorrow. Let's just dive right into this, Coach. You played a handful of games this season. You got tried in there 3 times. You played a U19 program and your ACHA program there at Adrian College. In total, you've got 6 games in, and you gave up 4 goals. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, with obviously when we talked before, with all the uncertainty and everything, to be able to play 6 games this semester was a blessing. It was, obviously there was a ton of hard work put in by everybody, including the students, trying to figure out, how to navigate through this situation we have at hand, and got through, all our testing, and we went through our ups and downs, but it was great. We went to 6-0 and didn't give up much. A lot of girls. We had 10 new players this year. They all got in different games throughout the 6, and it was a really pleasing first semester.
And Coach, I want to test your memory here. This is not hockey related; it's football related, in particular, Michigan football related. So, Cade McNamara on Saturday accounted for 5 touchdowns total. Who was the last Michigan quarterback to do that? It was within the last.
Is that passing and rushing?
Yep, that's total touchdowns.
Ooh.
We have one hint for you. All right, it was in the last 10 years.
Denard Robinson.
You got it. That's it. And do you know the opponent he did it against?
Ooh. I do not.
It was actually Ohio State.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. They beat them 40-34 that season.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's going in the.
Shoelace Denard.
That's right.
That's it. Shoelace.
All right, got that out of the way. So, Coach, you have, going into the season, you have a staple of your program in Kelly O'Sullivan, a 4-time All-American, gone. You can't fill those skates with just essentially one person, but you got to be impressed with the play of your defensemen in those 6 games, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, you lose a player of that caliber, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment, not only for myself but just our team. Trying to instill a little bit more trust in some new players and everything that goes along with graduating a player like Kelly. We got a couple juniors that have stepped up this year so far and kind of taken the reins, and we have 5 freshmen back there that have all gotten a taste of college hockey, and there's a couple of them that have solidified themselves as a couple that would be potential really good defensemen for us, and we got a couple that are trying to find their way, and that's fine. So it's going to be a little bit of a work in progress, but there's been some really good strides made in the first semester for sure.
Well, fortunately, Coach, you've had some non-conference games. Heading into conference play, does that give you a leg up on maybe some of your opponents that haven't had those non-conference games? I would think it does.
Yeah, I mean, let's say I hope it does. There's some teams that haven't even practiced
Yeah.
This whole semester. So, I mean, luckily, like from, kind of day one of school, besides a little bit of a pause there for a couple weeks, like we've skated pretty much the whole semester, and we were able to play 6 games. And so, yeah, I would say like the chemistry and camaraderie within the room, like for example, Lake Forest, they haven't even been on campus, so like I guess their team maybe the only time that they're getting to know each other maybe is on the phone. So it's a different experience that we've been able to give our team and all the students at Adrian as far as this semester goes, and I think it'll bode well for us moving forward for sure.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just think playing those non-conference games before you get into conference play, and we've seen not just in college hockey, obviously, but in all of college sports, those non-conference games have kind of gone away this year, and I think it's affected some teams negatively. And you mentioned having all those young defensemen. You don't get a chance to kind of ease those younger players in before you get into conference play, so that's a real advantage for you.
Yeah, totally agree.
Adrian College women's NCAA hockey coach Sean Skelly joining us on the phone. Coach, we did not talk last week, but we did talk the week before about a schedule update. Games with Utica canceled, and I think you had another opponent cancel. So you filled it in with the ACHA program at Adrian College. So black and gold all over the ice. A couple wins there. What was it like for you to, first off, coach against that team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was crazy again getting stuff canceled. We were supposed to go on the road to go play Concordia University, Wisconsin. There, COVID cases on their end canceled that. So Hannah's team, girl, we went to school together, so really close friends with Hannah Griffin. Sat in our office one day. Their games got canceled as well, and it was one of those things where we were like, we need some hockey games, and we have obviously a luxury of having a ton of hockey here at Adrian, and felt that like this year, uncharacteristic, unlike many others, felt like it was a really good decision to finally play each other, and I thought it was really good, regardless of them taking 2 losses. Like, I thought their team played really well, especially in the first game, and it was really good for our kids, like mentally, to have 2 more games under their belt. It was a fun experience, and I know that they'll be talking about it for a while.
Yeah, I didn't mean to mix up. Adam's team was playing Utica, right? That's the one that got canceled.
They were supposed to.
Okay.
We were supposed to play Utica as well. So you were still spot on there.
All right, cool. I go, oh man, I missed that game. Okay, I did. I was on the call for one of those games, and for stretches, your opponent kind of had some offensive zone time and sort of took it to your team a little bit. Maybe more so than against Trine. So, what was that like?
Yeah, you know what? And they do a really good job recruiting kids from all over. They got a ton of Canadians on their team, which is pretty wild. We seem to strike out with those dollars, but yeah, I mean, kudos to their program. Like, they've taken huge strides over the last handful of years. Where they're a top program in the ACHA, and I think they were playing their hearts out, trying to beat our team, as we're the varsity program. So they're going to give it everything they got, and I think it was a little like we had to take a step back and say, hey, all right, like, we got to start playing here. It's not just going to happen for us, and yeah, it was a really good game for us. It was exciting, and we're happy that we were able to come out with a win there.
Yeah, 3-0 win on the 13th and a 7-1 win on the 14th for the NCAA program. One more quick question, Coach, before we let you go. Bulldog fans might be checking that schedule up on the website, and they do see a conference schedule. Can you give us sort of an update on that?
Yeah, so whatever's on the website currently is not what it's going to be. I don't think our SIDs have taken it off from what it was supposed to be. We're currently working through, in the next week or so, some of the schools in the NCHA are going to be making some decisions based on their multi-sport conferences, and if all goes well, some of those teams stay in winter sports for next semester. We're gonna get a schedule out here in the next couple weeks, hopefully, and be able to publish something publicly, in the coming weeks.
All right, good stuff. So your semester season is done. Looking forward to hopefully one in the winter. Thanks for your time, Coach, and talk to you in the future.
All right, thanks, guys. Enjoy the holiday, and don't eat too much tomorrow.
You as well, Coach. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too. Happy Thanksgiving. Talk to you guys.
All right, bye-bye. And that is Adrian College NCAA women's hockey coach Sean Skelly joining us inside the cave this morning, talking Lady Bulldog hockey. We'll take a break, and on the other side of it, we'll switch teams. We'll go to the men's program, the NCAA team. They took on Division I Bowling Green State University at home last weekend. We'll talk to our coach, Adam Krug, on the other side of the break, inside the cave. Not yet. All right, here we go. And we're back inside the cave, our final segment for the morning. Ian Wendt, John Roberts with you till 9 o'clock. We heard from the NCAA women's hockey coach at Adrian College, Sean Skelly, before the break. Now we switch sides, and we're going to go to the men's program, and we have the NCAA men's coach, Adam Krug, on the phone with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we?
Doing well?
Doing well.
Getting ready for Thanksgiving
A
tomorrow.
little feasting.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's dive right into this here. So you went to Bowling Green State University on the 13th, 6-2 loss, and then they go to the Arrington for the first time. A D1 program visits the Arrington Ice Arena. You took the loss 5-0. I was there on the call for that game. That wasn't a 5-0 hockey game. And I'm sure Bowling Green State University would say the same thing. First off, what was it like to finally host a Division I program at the Arrington?
Well, it was okay. I mean, it's disappointing that we didn't have our fans. I think that's something that our fans, our supporters, they deserve. And unfortunately, in tough times, there's tough decisions that are made, and this is one of them. But it was ultimately it was great to see that brown and orange Bowling Green uniform on our ice. I've got a lot of personal family history with Bowling Green, so that was kind of a unique opportunity for us and for me. Unfortunately, I don't think the friendly confines of Arrington Ice Arena were too friendly to the home team, which usually it is. I mean, to get shut out on home ice definitely stunk. But to your point, I do not think by any means we came out and laid an egg. After the game, the Bowling Green coaches are very complimentary. We talked at length just about our team and the game, and Bowling Green's goalie made some big saves in timely moments when they could have gone 1-0 up or 1-1. Late in the first period, early in the second. It was not a 5-0 game. I think we clean up 2, 3, 4 mistakes, and we're in that game right till the end.
Well, one of the things I noticed, Coach, looking at the box score of the game, I mean, first period, I believe it was 1-0, and then no scoring in the third period. So for 2 of the 3 periods, you played them really quite even. I know they got 4 goals in the second. That's got to make you feel real good that for 40 of the 60 minutes, you really went toe-to-toe with them.
Well, and really for 4 of the 6 periods, we went toe-to-toe.
Yeah, exactly.
After 20 minutes down at BG, and then it was 2-2 in the third down at BG, and to your point, we went toe-to-toe, and you take out a 8-minute chunk, down at their place, and you take out about a 10-12 minute chunk at our place, and we feel really good. I mean, throw 20 minutes out of 120 minutes of hockey. There's 100 really good minutes of hockey there for us over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and that's got to make you feel real good, heading into conference play, knowing that, we tested ourselves against a team, that on paper, you look at, we're playing a Division I team, kind of above our weight class, so to speak. And like I said, you went toe-to-toe with them, and, you didn't end up getting the victory, but you can play at that level.
Yeah, and we're getting better through this, guys.
Absolutely.
It stinks to get punched in the mouth a little bit, and our ego hurts. And to me, the biggest takeaway was our guys' standards. After the game, they were pissed. They were not happy with the loss. I think some guys were not happy with the effort, or not the effort, not that we didn't play hard, but I don't think they were happy with how the game went. But afterwards, I told the guys, listen, that's not a 5-0 hockey game. You're not 5 goals worse than that team. There was a lot of positives to take away, and that's what we have to do. We have to take the positives out of that weekend and learn from the negatives. which we're doing. And, we've got a video session here in about 27 minutes now, 28 minutes from now. And, we're going to get better. We're going to get better. And going forward, I think this could be a springboard to more positive.
So maybe a little more upset with the execution and not the effort. The players.
And again, I think the guys are disappointed in the result, and sometimes you need that 24 hours or so to remove yourself from what just happened to get a look at the big picture. And even touching base with the group on Sunday and yesterday, I think we're in a good spot mentally. But I think if anything, the guys wish they could have a do-over and maybe execute a little bit better.
Yeah, a couple players, coach, to really point out. Of course, you look at the goalie position. Maybe you have different thoughts, but Cam Gray faced a lot of tough shots against the Division I Bowling Green program. Tied a career high in saves. I thought he played a really good hockey game and got beat by really pinpoint shots.
Yeah, you know what? He did what he had to do, and the first goal is a great example of what we expect of our team. And we said, if we're going to get beat, it's got to be a perfect shot.
That was perfect.
It's a 2-on-1, and our defenseman makes a perfect read and a perfect play, because what we're willing to give up is a short side shot that has to be perfect to beat our goalie, and that's exactly what they got. It's off the elbow and in, and that's going to go in probably 2 out of 100 times. It's got to be that perfect of a shot. So we're happy with Cam. We're very happy with Cam. He's seen more grade A opportunities against in the past 2 weeks than he probably did most of last season combined. And that's not that we even played poor defense or anything like that, but when we play Division III teams, we really take control of the game. And when you're playing a Division I team, on paper again, they're going to be better than us, and we're going to have to raise our game and our level. And we did that. I mean, the chances for on Saturday at home here, the chances for were 18 for Bowling Green and 12 for us. So even though on paper we got outshot 46-16, 12 of our 16 shots were actually really good scoring chances. Maybe there's a couple scoring chances that missed the net that don't get registered as any type of stat, period. And then Bowling Green, they kind of peppered us from anywhere and everywhere, but only 18 of those 46 were really high quality scoring chances.
Adrian College men's hockey coach Adam Krug joining us. One more quick question or observation. We know you have that top defensive line, probably the best in Division III hockey with Owings and Eller, and they played a lot in that first period. But then I started to see a lot more of a freshman, number 20, Jaden Shields, playing defense. He looked to play aggressive and really try to push things in the offensive zone. He got a little more playing time in the second. Do you like what you're seeing from the young man?
Yeah, Shields is a real good offensive, instinctual defenseman. He didn't have a great game down at Bowling Green, and he really wanted to come out and prove that he was better than that, and I thought he did. I thought he played well. You can't point the finger at him for any of the goals against, I don't think. But offensively, I think he kind of found a little bit of a rhythm, a little bit of confidence, and that'll be big for him going forward.
All right, real quick, Coach, before we wrap up the show, we're looking at hopefully a conference season in 2021. Any other games on the slate for 2020?
It should be finalized today, but it looks like we're going to have a home and home here with another Division I program this weekend. Just with the ever-changing landscape of schedules these days, we're looking to pick up anything we can and give our guys the experience they deserve. And if that means Division I opportunities, we're going to take those all day. So I think we'll have another couple of games this weekend. It sounds like one would be on the road and one at home. We'll announce that information once it becomes publicly available, and from there, I think we're going to let the guys go home on Monday and get a good 3-4 weeks at home,
then get them back right after Christmas, and it looks like we might have another Division I series or two right at the end, or right at the onset of the second semester. So more to come on all that. We'll keep you in the loop as always.
That's awesome to hear. Hopefully, maybe after Christmas, some fans can be there.
Yeah, that's the hope. Hopefully everybody's doing their part out there to kind of clean things up, and we can let people back in the building and see some good hockey again.
All right, Adrian College men's hockey coach Adam Krug. Coach, thanks for joining us, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks a bunch, fellas. Yeah, you too. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there.
All right, take it easy, Coach.
Take care.
Bye-bye. There you go, Adrian College men's hockey coach Adam Krug joining us inside the cave. Looks like we'll have some more D1 contests between the Bulldogs and some D1 hockey programs. That's it for the show. We did it, John. We got everything in that we wanted to talk about in these 2 hours. I'll be back on the show tomorrow with Pat Hayes. We'll talk more Michigan football, preview their upcoming game with winless Penn State, maybe talk about MSU and the game against Northwestern. We'll see.
Okay, I'll be here Friday with John Kane, stepping
right.
in for Jeff Bowman.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
John, if I don't
Thanksgiving,
see
you
before
and
then.
everybody out there.
That's right. Final hour of the DA show coming up next. It was a good one today. And again, I'll be here tomorrow with Pat Hayes inside the cave.
Morency or Monroe, give them a call today at 517-263-2582. Nationwide is on your side. Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates.